Humans of the cardboard, welcome back to Just Nuts, guys. Today we've got some really sweet news, to be honest. This is just exactly what I was hoping for, and 3 brand new cards for Centurion. Not gonna lie, that's a little bit scary, but also super exciting at the same time. This is not gonna help the prices of Centurion drop whatsoever, but maybe they'll be in the new 25th anniversary set with a bunch of reprints. We'll see in May. But anyway, here's the thing. Centurion is cool. I actually really like the way the deck works, but it appears so far the deck is just, 1, a little bit too fragile, and 2, it's just doing the freaking calamities lock, basically. Which is like one of the most degenerate things you can do, right? It's Zombie Stein-esque, all that stuff. And so hopefully, what I've kind of been hoping is that with this second wave, Konami makes a good enough alternative win condition. Just other things the deck can do to interrupt the opponent, to do what it wants to do, but also an alternate thing where they can just ban calamities. But calamities just should not be a part of a competitive strategy. So that's what I'm hoping for here, because I really like the way Centurion works. Hopefully this helps round it out and give it an alternate win condition that's strong enough where it doesn't kill the deck by banning its main win condition in calamities. But let's get into it. We've got a main deck boss well, it's level 8. I don't know if it's a boss monster. A new level 12 synchro and a new quick play spell. That is a recipe for success. But let's try it out here. This is Centurion Gargoyle 2. Love it. It's a level, and they're also, all this artwork is like the same monsters. You can see it's like this big guy. He looks cool. He doesn't have the same aesthetic as the rest of the Centurion stuff, but still cool nonetheless. I don't know who this girl is. I can't really see from this artwork. Maybe that's a girl we're gonna get down the line. That's not one of the girls that's already been revealed, Primera or Trudea, but we'll see. Okay, here we go. Anyway, Gargoyle the second. This is a level 8 dragon. Dark Dragon, 2,000 attack, 3,000 defense, decent stats, first, second, and third effects, all hard ones per turn. The first effect reads, you can send 1 face-up Centurion card you control to the graveyard to special summon this card from the hand. Also, you cannot special summon another copy of Gargoyle 2 for the rest of this turn. Okay, this is only from hand, so it says you can't special summon it again. I guess that means that you wouldn't be able to reborn it or place it in scale and then summon it. But that's still cool. Second effect, if this card is sent to the graveyard as synchro material, you can add it to your hand. Ah, I see. Okay, so it's another extender, basically, that's going to add itself back to the hand. But you wouldn't be able to summon it next turn. So I guess just follow-up, and that's just a good card that like does what it does, but then still gives you even more follow-up. Fine. And the third effect, during the main phase of this card, is a continuous trap. You can special summon it, then you can decrease its level by 4. Okay, so cool. It does still have that ability to special summon itself as a monster if it's placed into the spell and trap zone as a trap. Decrease level by 4, so it helps you make 8s or it helps you make 12s. That's totally cool. Like that. Here's the only problem I have with this card, and we've actually already talked about this in the archetype. I've actually heard multiple people mention this problem. The deck has 1 tuner. If this card was a tuner, I actually would be very happy with this card. And it's not, so I kind of just find myself being like, it's okay. It's a card that you might play. Like, if you already have access to everything, then maybe this is just, you want to get this card in rotation, because if you're just using this card as an extender and synchro material every single turn, he's just going back to hand every turn. Why not just have an extra resource in rotation that's coming back every turn and helping you potentially make another synchro? But if we're getting another synchro here, the 12 we already have is really good, and we might be getting another one here with this new 12, but if we can make 2 12 synchros, where's that second tuner coming from? There's still only 1 tuner in the archetype. So yeah, for me, this card felt like it was like just being a tuner away from being like a really good card. Almost exactly what the deck needs, but I think it lands more like a fine 1-up or something that you just kind of like are going to get in rotation sometimes if you already have like Emmet in rotation, and that's cool, just not exactly what the deck needs. But it's also a big body. It does help you put more damage and more aggression on the board, so I guess like that's also nice as well. It's fine, and it is another 8 extender potentially, which does even make like rank 8 plays a little more abusable in the deck as well. Maybe that's a route people go for. We'll see. Alright, moving on here, we have the Synchro Monster. This is Centurion Arcuela. Level 12 Dark Dragon Synchro Effect Monster. 3k, 3k, so it is nice and big. It is generic. Any tuners plus any non-tuners are going to add up to 12, but 12 is the marquee level of this archetype. I actually thought they'd make it an 8. I thought that would make sense, but to be fair, they made a generic monster in the last set, Phantom Nightmare, that is like a generic like support for this deck. It Enigmaster Packbit, I believe is his name. Cool card, it just has good synergy with the deck. So that works out. And there's already so many good generic 8s anyway. Alright, 3 effects. The first and third are hard ones per turn. If this card is special summoned, you can add a Centurion card from your deck to your hand. That's already a really good effect. That's actually super interesting because the other 12 draws a card, whereas this card adds a Centurion card from deck to hand. That's super interesting on which one you'd want to do. I guess the big thing there is that not many cards are that great to search on the opponent's turn. So maybe this one becomes arguably better to make turn 1 to get a play set up, but the other one is better to make on the opponent's turn to hit them. Interesting. Alright, let's see what else it does. Face-up cards in your spell and trap zone cannot be destroyed by card effects. Wow, that's nice as well, especially for this archetype. That's actually pretty nice. It makes it so a lot of like cards in the metagame just don't really hurt this deck nearly as much. That's cool. It makes a lot of matchups more manageable. Stuff like Fire King, stuff like Unchained that do a lot of destroying. Not quite as good. And last effect during the end phase, or even the Firelink 3. There's so many good cards that are like quick pops right now. During the end phase, you can place one of your non-Synchro Centurion monsters that is banished or in your graveyard face up in your spell and trap zone as a continuous trap. Very cool. Yeah, then just loads one back into the zone. That's really good. The same one as the other one as well. This is interesting for sure because the one thing that I do like about this is that this card does potentially get you into an avenue where you're able to make double 12s turn 1. Now you're going to play in a nib more often if you play this card, it probably seems to me, but I could see a world where like if you normaled Primera and you didn't have to special summon her yet and like go into it and just make a 12 with her, like a basic 12 line, you make this guy, then this guy searches another extender that you didn't use, whether you use Trudea or Emmet for the original Synchro. You'd be able to add this guy, and then you could use and then this guy searches you a Centurion card that you didn't use, whether it's the quick play spell that like places one into the zone, or the field spell if you didn't use it yet, or whatever. It's any card, so it could be one of the monsters too. Potentially use any way to get Primera back into the spell and trap zone, not just the quick effect here, or not just the end phase effect here, but another effect, and then maybe make a second 12. So not only do you get the search here, but you also are able to search that. The only downside with this card is this card does nothing on the opponent's turn. If you go into this card, you're going to put this card on the field, and then once he does his search, which is good, and the place on the end phase for follow-up, which is also good, you might be sitting there going like, so this card is just protection now and a decently sized body. I guess the other benefit there is like if you have Emmet engraved, Emmet can like place this into the spell and trap zone to summon itself, and then if you can pull this card out later with a different card, then this card will trigger again, because this card just triggers on special summon there. So just not a card you want to leave up on the field. Still a good card in a vacuum. I'm just not sure it's exactly the boss monster that I want that replaces Calamities. That'll be the question, is it worth it? Can we actually end on strong enough boards? Maybe this card existing makes it so the deck can play through interaction, because you can make this first. Your opponent may want to hand trap this, and then if you can still find a line to make the other 12, boom, like that's still pretty good value. But we'd have to see. So cool card, good card. I need to really work out the lines, and this card not being a tuner makes it so like making both 12s is like not that feasible in a lot of hands, I would reckon, but we'll see. All right, last card here is a quick play spell. This is Wake Up Centurion. This is a quick play, 2 hard ones per turn effects. If you have a face-up card in your spell and trap zone, declare a level 4 or 8. Special summon 1 Centurion token, Pyro, Dark, 0/0, with that level, 4 or 8. But it cannot be used as fusion or link material. And obviously it's a token, so it can't be used as exceed material either. Basically, it can only be used for synchro. And then during your main phase, you can banish this card from your graveyard to send 1 Centurion card from your deck to the graveyard, except for Wake Up Centurion. Okay, this is another good card. I mean, it's an extender. You do have to meet the requirement of at least getting a card in your face-up monster in your spell and trap zone, but that's so easy for this deck. Like, honestly, that's super easy to accomplish. You have so many cards that do that. The quick play spell, the other quick play spell does it. The field spell does it. Trudea and Primera kind of give you ways to do it. Emmet helps you get stuff there. Like, there's so many ways, right? It is an extender. Again, this is a card where if this token could be a tuner, this card would be so much better in my opinion. Because if you have to make this 12, the new 12 here, using Primera and maybe even needing to special summon her, because maybe you didn't hard open her, but you had to like place her in scale and then special summon her, she can't be special summoned again for the rest of the turn. There's your one tuner. So now I'm sitting there going, where's my other tuner? How am I getting access to the second synchro? We're getting all these extenders, but no tuner. So you're just plopping all these cards on the field, and then they don't do enough from that point. Now, luckily, this card, you can banish it to send a Centurion card from deck to grave, so it gives you a pretty solid bonus effect. This is like if maybe you didn't have the gas to get Emmet in rotation, or maybe you like could get both. You already searched this guy, and then you want to send Emmet just to get it in rotation. That's still good. That's still good value for sure. But it's like just not being a tuner just seems weird. It just feels like we're putting a bunch of bodies on the field, but we're only still making one synchro per turn. And I think that's going to be the difference for this archetype. I think if Konami wants to raise the ceiling of this deck at all, it doesn't even need to be nearly as good as Trudea or Primera, but just like, even if all it does is like, it just has the effect to summon from Spell and Trap Zone, the deck just puts them there so consistently, so effortlessly, that even if all it had was one effect that said, if this card's a continuous trap, you can special summon it. That is it. That was all the deck would need, because it'd just be a secondary tuner and it would raise the ceiling of the deck significantly. But I don't know. Listen, I think all three are actually good cards. That's the good thing here. It gives the deck more options. It just still feels like it's not going to change that much on first impression. But listen, I have stayed away from this deck for a little bit just because the price tag is so high. It's on my radar, but I can't wiggle out that much right now for a deck like this. So if you've been messing around with the deck, if it's like your choice deck right now, I'd love to hear your thoughts on these cards, because I do think they're good cards. I do think they're going to see play in the deck. I don't know about all three guaranteed, but at least the synchro and probably the quick play would see play most likely. Not entirely convinced that the monster will, but I'd love to hear your thoughts on that down below. Let me know if you think they're going to see play right now. Do you think it makes the deck significantly better right now? Can we ban Calamities and the deck still actually be in a decent position? I really want to hear your guys' thoughts on these cards down below. But thank you so much for watching. Otherwise, let me know your thoughts on the cards. Stay tuned. This should set us up basically waiting for probably maybe a Wednesday drop of the Thursday drop of the final cards that need to be revealed for the entire set. I think it's like 8 or 10 cards. It should be mostly filler stuff at this point, but we always get, sometimes we get 1 or 3, nice little filler cards that are just good generic cards. Hopefully that's the case, but I will keep you up to date on anything that drops then. Other than that, I'm out of here for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. As always, new content coming soon. As you can tell, I've got a bunch of stuff. I got a pile of boxes right here. We got to figure this out, but we're in the new apartment. I just got to get stuff put away. I'm actually off today, so I'm going to put away a good amount of stuff, and hopefully get the apartment mostly taken care of. But we'll obviously get there when we get there. But yeah, Thanks again. I'll see you guys in the next video. Subscribe if you have not yet and you want to see more news videos from me whenever stuff drops. And I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.